Marxist lens. What are we most primarily concerned with?
Labor. And the struggle of labor.
Right. Power dynamics in labor. Yes. Power dynamics in markets. Power dynamics in the economy. Those things. Yes. Workers and employers. Money for the working class, middle class, upper class struggle, all those things.
How would you introduce a lens in an essay? Would you just say, like, according to this lens?
Okay. So
That's a good question.
So what you can do, say, so I give you a prompt, I give you the passage, you read it. So let's say I give you a random prompt and you read part of Maggie. Okay. You could just simply start by saying, from a Marxist perspective, Maggie is experiencing this because da 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 da.
Oh, okay. So you can just.
Or from a Marxist perspective, Maggie does this because whatever she does.
If you don't explicitly say the lens, but you do talk about like if you were to just talk about economics or something, but not specifically say like Marxist lens or whatever, do you still get it? Do they still
Say it one more time for me?
So do you have to, like, if you just start talking about it from that perspective, but you introduce it without like explicitly saying the lens that you're using, do you still, does it still count?
Yeah, it probably still will. Yeah, if they're smart enough, if you're clear enough in what you're doing, they'll pick up on the fact that you didn't use the term, but you're actually doing that still.
Oh. Okay.
The readers who read these, they're trained AP teachers and trained college professionals.
Okay.
So they would be aware of this content. Feminist perspective, what do we look for?
I hate men.
Yeah, power struggles within genders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Primarily how women are kept down by men.
Yes.
Right.
See.
Like in what? In that FRQ?
Oh,
Yes, like in that FRQ.
husband.
Yes, right, yes. We call this the patriarchy. That's what we call this, right? The patriarchy, the dominant hegemonic system of men that control things to make sure that men stay in power and women do not get any power. Patriarchy. Yes. Okay. New historicist.
Is it just looking at it from a historical perspective?
That's part of it. So history does count, but there's that I would say falls under a larger umbrella. New historicist is from a cultural perspective. So how culture dynamics interact with each other. Cultures don't have to be nationality, right? Cultures can also be, for example, the working or like the professionals, urban professionals versus poor people, right? Those are two
So
cultures.
this would also be very easy lens to apply to.
I would say so. Yes. Yeah. If you can explain why something is happening to a character from a cultural perspective, so why why the Johnson family keeps having stuff happen to them, and if you want to argue it's because they're Irish.
Because Irish immigrants were treated very bad.
Correct. Yeah. Then you're arguing from a new historicist perspective. Then.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So culture. Right, so you can see why history kind of fits it, but it's not just history. But it can be part of it. Okay. Formalist.
Don't know what that one is.
Okay. Formalist is the lens that you've actually been doing for pretty much your entire life as a literature student here, because schools tend to focus on it so much. Formalism is where we look at literary techniques.
All right.
Most like straightforward.
Yeah, right. Symbolism, metaphors,
So another really easy lens.
irony. Yeah. The reason why this one people typically disregard it in terms of if you're trying to say, oh, I'm applying lenses. They often disregard it because this is like the default mode you're always in, and so people don't see it as you like stretching yourself to go do something else.
So if we do that, because that's like the basis, and then add another lens in, that you would still get the sophistication?
I think to be safe, you'd begin whatever your initial discussion is probably going to be in this mode here, because that's what we're usually on, right? Pick two others.
Okay.
Pick two others, because then you've got a true range of demonstrating your knowledge.
Okay.
And yes.
Can you like sort of cheat the system and then like say that you weren't working for these lens, but you really were, and then like switch it out and say you were working for these lens?
I wouldn't go to those lengths to spell it out there. It's like just the simple phrase from a fill in the blank perspective is just that's a seamless transition, right? So one of the things in the sophistication box was you get to the point by doing multiple interpretations of the same passage or multiple interpretations of the same line. This is how you do those multiple interpretations here. Okay? It's not just, well, the speaker means this, the speaker could also mean this. Like, yeah, that's one way of doing it. But there's other times where the speaker clearly means one thing and one thing only. You can't just read something else into it. That's where this comes in.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right? Because the speaker can say one thing definitively, and we can look at it from an economic perspective, or we can look at it from a gender perspective,
Okay.
or we can look at it from a cultural perspective. What in the hell you think I paid $5 for? Pay? No pay down. Right? We read that yesterday in class.
Yeah. Landon
I
missed
heard
it.
it.
So you can get
You missed your time.
and from like multiple interpretations, like
Yes.
not just using a lens, you can do it besides just
Yes. Yes. But when all else fails, this is a good way to
Yeah.
get some of that stuff. Okay. So formalist is like the default mode. Postmodernist and postcolonial, these are two that we haven't talked about as much, but they are.
Well, post-colonialism used to be pretty self-explanatory.
Let's do postcolonial then, since we're on it, right? Okay, so post.
Why?
Yes, right. Postcolonial, yes, is yes. We look at the effects of white people and right, got small things. Exactly. What white people leave behind when they go colonize places. Yes, that's postcolonial lens. So obviously from Mag, you drove the streets, the postcolonial lens is not going to be an appropriate lens to apply.
They are like, why?
Doesn't really affect white people, right? Now, postmodernist, however, this is the hardest one of the whole bunch because it's the hardest to define. Give it a shot.
Would this be looking at like a number of recent years that maybe you were a part of, and then trying to use like everything that happened then to apply to literature?
I guess technically that would fall in line, but I don't think it's the definition.
The definitely.
Yeah.
Something about societies changes?
I guess that would fall in line, but not the definition. Yeah.
Is it just like connecting it back to current day society?
I guess it would fall in line, but not the definition.
What's the definition?
Yeah.
Is it sort of like a self-reflection?
I guess that would fall in line, but it doesn't really fit the definition.
It is.
How broad is this?
It's pretty broad.
Oh
It's
dang.
pretty broad. Postmodernism is okay. So the best we can do is to say it's the opposite of this right here. So whereas formalism, you are looking for meaning within unity. You find elements that work together to create meaning. Postmodernism is the search to show how there's no meaning in any of it.
Oh.
Oh.
Is this a nihilistic
So
lens?
you're much more cynical, your perspective.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So it's you
It's
look,
the life means
you look
nothing
for the
perspective.
absence of meaning within the text.
Remember last year we couldn't figure out the irony of fate?
Yeah. A postmodernist critic would not only go into that discussion, but then would show how stupid that discussion is, or at least or how unnecessary that discussion is, because there's just no meaning. There's no meaning. Nothing.
Or
is-
getting killed out there.
Yes.
Talking
Yes.
Is this like a nihilistic lens then?
In a way, it can be. I'd say it's
Wait, so you could write just like this means nothing?
Yeah, not
Totally
no,
pointless?
you can't do that. You have to prove it still. That's the thing, right?
Oh.
So the lens, as soon as you try to define the lens collapses in on itself because postmodernism has no meaning, and yet when you try to define it, you're giving it meaning.
Oh.
How many people have you seen successfully pull off a postmodernist?
Oh, lots.
Lots, okay.
Lots. Any one of us in here can do it. It's just you have to do it in a way that's not self-referential. You
Okay.
can't say I'm going to apply a postmodernist lens like writ large. Say first I will say this, and I'll say this thing. Just you could just say from a postmodernist perspective, none of this matters because we say why.
Okay.
Wow.
Would it just be like, oh, in the grand scheme of things, this is insignificant and?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. How would you use that in like the story we read?
So
Maggie throw the streets. There's lots of.
No, not Maggie, but like the one we read
Hamlet?
for FAQ. The FAQ one.
which,
Part 8 for the part 8 FAQ.
oh, that one.
That's pretty good.